Have you ever tried to understand diabetes and felt like you were memorizing scattered points instead of seeing one complete story? That is exactly why the critical integrated map of diabetes mellitus is so powerful. It does not treat diabetes as separate definitions, symptoms, or drugs. Instead, it connects everything into one clinical pathway that starts from insulin dysfunction and ends in systemic complications affecting almost every organ in the body. To begin with the foundation, diabetes mellitus is a chronic metabolic disorder in which the body loses its ability to regulate blood glucose. Normally, after eating carbohydrates, glucose enters the bloodstream and the pancreas releases insulin. Insulin acts like a key that unlocks body cells, so glucose can enter and produce energy. A simple way to remember this normal process is GI. Glucose goes in with insulin for energy. When this system is intact, blood sugar remains stable and cells remain energized. In diabetes, this system breaks down in two major ways. In type 1 diabetes, there is absolute insulin deficiency due to autoimmune destruction of beta cells. A simple mnemonic here is type 1 means no insulin 100%. In type 2 diabetes, insulin is present but ineffective due to insulin resistance, and later beta cell exhaustion occurs. You can remember this as type 2 is tired receptors. In both cases, the result is the same. Glucose cannot enter cells and starts accumulating in the bloodstream, leading to persistent hyperglycemia. Now, this is where the critical integrated map becomes clinically important. Once hyperglycemia develops, the body enters a state of cellular starvation. Even though blood is full of glucose, the cells cannot use it. This creates a false signal of starvation, activating hunger centers in the brain, which leads to polyphagia or increased appetite. A useful clinical tip is to remember that in diabetes, high blood sugar equals hungry cells. Since glucose cannot be used, the body switches to emergency fuel sources. It begins breaking down fat through lipolysis and protein through proteolysis. This leads to weight loss and muscle wasting, even when the patient is eating more than usual. In type 1 diabetes especially, excessive fat breakdown produces ketone bodies. These ketones are acidic and can accumulate, leading to diabetic ketoacidosis. A high-yield memory point is DKA, means danger from ketones accumulating. Clinically, this presents with fruity breath, deep rapid breathing, dehydration, nausea, and abdominal pain. This is a life-threatening emergency and a key special situation in diabetes care. At the same time, high blood glucose exceeds the renal threshold. Normally, kidneys reabsorb glucose, but when levels are too high, glucose spills into urine. This is called glycosuria. Glucose pulls water with it through osmotic diuresis, causing excessive urination or polyuria. This fluid loss leads to dehydration, which stimulates the thirst center in the brain, resulting in polydipsia. This is why the classic triad of diabetes is polyuria, polydipsia, and polyphagia. A simple exam tip is 3 Ps always point to diabetes until proven otherwise. As hyperglycemia continues, it starts damaging blood vessels through a process called glycation, where glucose binds to proteins and forms harmful advanced glycation end products. This leads to inflammation, oxidative stress, and endothelial damage. Over time, blood vessels become thick, narrow, and less functional. This is the beginning of chronic complications. From a CIM perspective, complications are divided into microvascular and macrovascular damage. Microvascular complications affect small blood vessels and include diabetic retinopathy, nephropathy, and neuropathy. Retinopathy can lead to vision loss. Nephropathy can progress to kidney failure. And neuropathy causes numbness, tingling, and loss of sensation, especially in the feet. A key nursing warning here is that neuropathy is dangerous because patients may not feel injuries leading to unnoticed wounds. Macrovascular complications involve large blood vessels and include coronary artery disease, stroke, and peripheral arterial disease. This explains why diabetic patients have a much higher risk of heart attacks and limb ischemia. A special clinical consideration is diabetic foot. where poor circulation and neuropathy combine to cause ulcers that may progress to gangrene and amputation if not managed early. Now integrating the CIM into nursing practice. Everything connects into a single workflow. In assessment, you identify the 3 Ps: weight changes, fatigue, and visual disturbances. In diagnosis, you confirm hyperglycemia using fasting blood glucose, random glucose, or HbA1c. In management, you control blood sugar using insulin in type 1 diabetes and oral hypoglycemics like metformin in type 2 diabetes. A key pharmacology tip is remembering metformin. It reduces hepatic glucose production and improves insulin sensitivity. Nursing management becomes the backbone of diabetes care. Nurses monitor blood glucose levels, administer insulin safely, and most importantly, educate patients. Education includes diet control, medication adherence, exercise, and foot care. A simple nursing mnemonic is SAFE: sugar monitoring, activity, foot care, and education. Another critical special situation is hypoglycemia, especially in patients on insulin. The warning signs include sweating, confusion, tremors, and palpitations. A quick clinical rule is cold clammy. Confused means check glucose immediately. Finally, the CIM teaches you that diabetes is not an isolated disease but a progressive chain reaction. It starts with insulin dysfunction, moves to hyperglycemia, leads to cellular starvation, triggers fat and protein breakdown, causes osmotic diuresis and dehydration, and finally results in long-term vascular damage and organ failure. Once you understand this complete map, you no longer memorize diabetes. You actually visualize it happening inside the body. That is the real power of clinical integration.